Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to tonight's edition of Heartland Championship Wrestling. My name is Dave Little, and we are coming to you live from the Dave Cave with action from Patriot Championship Wrestling. We are here in New York City with a big show, and our main event will be for the North American Heavyweight Championship as Sergeant Slaughter defends against Rick Rude. We'll also see a number one contenders match for the NWA World Tag Team Championship as Demolition squares off against Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack. And we'll see a grudge match coming up shortly between Eddie Gilbert and Ivan PUTSKI. But before we get into tonight's action, let us first of all say hello to all the illustrious crew assembled in the chat room. Carl Zilla first on the chat. Neil Lau, good to see you, my man. Cleveland Baseball Fan 879, the week before WrestleMania indeed. Philip Reynolds is here, and after further review with Steve Tower greets us all with a Ted Hut. Hello, wrestling fans, and good evening one and all. Now, before we get into tonight's action, let us recap the events we saw prior to the beginning of the live broadcast. The show started off with Sweet Daddy Siki, the popular Jamaican, picking up a victory over Gorgeous George by way of the neckbreaker. Then it was Harley Race with a pinfall victory over George Hackenschmidt by way of the piledriver. The British Bulldogs then picked up a victory in a competitive tag team match against the team of Norvell Austin and Sputnik Monroe when the Dynamite Kid pinned Sputnik with a diving headbutt. Then we saw the beginning of some drama as Kurt Angle took on Killer Kowalski. Kowalski, of course, a member of James J. Dillon Enterprises. And it was Angle defeating Kowalski by disqualification. Kowalski was on the defensive a good bit in that match and in danger of losing as Angle had moved in and was preparing for the ankle lock when Kowalski went out of the ring. And after the disqualification, Kowalski had some rough words with James J. Dillon. Some disagreements there as Kowalski was not impressed or pleased with the actions of James J. Dillon in the events leading up to the disqualification. Things didn't get any better for James J. Dillon after that when his tag team of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard lost in a very competitive match against the Fantastics, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, when after a unsuccessful double team attempt by Anderson and Blanchard, it was Blanchard taking the fall after a rocket launcher from Bobby Fulton. So it has been a rough night so far for Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and all of James J. Dillon Enterprises. And that brings us to our televised matchups for tonight. Now, a couple weeks back, you may remember here in Patriot Championship Wrestling on the channel, a title match between Bob Backlund and superstar Billy Graham. And Backlund was awarded the decision by way of disqualification in a controversial decision. Fans at ringside, Kevin Butcher in particular, very unhappy with that decision. And as a result, a commissioner's ruling will be authored to determine whether or not Billy Graham gets a championship rematch. And we are going to see that happen right now. Superstar Billy Graham coming to ringside, accompanied by the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, his manager. And to get the commissioner's ruling, we're going to the Filsinger Games Ringside Companion Volume 1 booklet, which has a commissioner chart in the back. We're on page 85. The commissioner of the Patriot Championship Wrestling, of course, is Torrie Wilson. And Torrie Wilson is known to trend on the side of the rule breakers. So she will be considered an unfair commissioner awarding a title shot against a favored wrestler. So it's a roll of 2d6. Will generate our ruling for us on behalf of Tori Wilson, and on a roll of 4, no title match granted. Oh, a controversial decision here, as superstar Billy Graham is denied his request for a title shot. And he is going to have to go back down to the bottom of the pecking order. Excuse me. So a rough night for superstar Billy Graham, as by a surprising decision, Tori Wilson does not grant superstar Graham the title match. So Graham will go away unhappy. Tori Wilson will go back to her skybox up above the of the ring area as we get started with our opening televised contest. And my apologies for the voice quality. I have been suffering from a cold. I was not able to broadcast anything last weekend. Off work on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and now I am back in action. But as you know, those of us who are burdened with the Y chromosome, when we get hit by a cold, that's an existential crisis. My wife had the same cold, and she just flew right through it by virtue of her superior constitution. But we've got some Mountain Dew here on the broadcast table, and we are ready to get our action going with a grudge match. Ivan PUTSKI, a man who has been at odds with several members of James J. Dillon Enterprises, is going to be taking on Eddie Gilbert from the Dillon stable in our opening contest. And so here we go, fans. The following contest is scheduled for one fall with no disqualification, and this is a grudge match. Introducing first from Lexington, Tennessee, 5'10", 222 pounds. He is accompanied by James J. Dillon. This is Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert making his way down to ringside, accompanied by James J. Dillon. And as we mentioned earlier, it has been a rough night for Dillon. He had some crosswords with Killer Kowalski earlier on, and then his tag team of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard tasted defeat. So Dillon is not in any mood for any joviality here at ringside for this grudge match. But his opponent, 5'9" tall, 242 pounds, out of Krakow, Poland. This is the Polish Power, Ivan PUTSKI. And special thanks, of course, to Sam Luptak Jr. for the Ivan PUTSKI bootleg, as he comes on to take on Eddie Gilbert in this grudge match situation. Under the watchful eye of James J. Dillon at ringside, and we are ready for action. All right, the opening initiative roll is won by Gilbert. And Gilbert comes right out and takes down PUTSKI with a double leg takedown, and punch is delivered. Gilbert punching away at PUTSKI. And he is going to go now for a figure 4 leg lock, a choice E maneuver. He's going to need a roll of 11 or lower to complete this. It's an agility move, and so that is a good roll for Gilbert. PUTSKI immediately trapped in the figure 4 leg lock. And slow to get to his feet as Gilbert pulls him up after PUTSKI gets to the ropes. The hold is broken. Gilbert with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes PUTSKI, but on a roll of 4. That is Gilbert setting his head too soon. PUTSKI comes off with a huge clothesline. The massive arms of Ivan PUTSKI just tore Eddie Gilbert in half, and Gilbert is down, and PUTSKI now in control. And PUTSKI's going to go right to the Polish pile driver. This is his finishing move. It's a +1 finisher. The pin roll is 4, but on a roll of 5, it is Gilbert who is able to kick out, and the match will continue. PUTSKI taking advantage of a situation there, as Gilbert a little too eager on the whip to the ropes. And now PUTSKI is in control and looking to finish his man. Now the Polish Hammer. The Polish Hammer, a double finisher for PUTSKI. Pin roll here is 4 or lower. And on a roll of 9, Gilbert is able to kick out. But PUTSKI is in control, and PUTSKI now goes for the atomic drop, and Gilbert is down. PUTSKI has the crowd at his back here as he is dominating Eddie Gilbert. PUTSKI with another atomic drop. Gilbert finally getting to his feet as Mark Ferguson joins the chat room. Mark, welcome. This is our opening contest. There was a good bit of news delivered in the first 10 minutes of the broadcast, but we are now in a no disqualification grudge match as Ivan PUTSKI, the Polish Power, takes on Eddie Gilbert, representing James J. Dillon Enterprises. And it is PUTSKI now with a shove into the turnbuckle. Back into the turnbuckle goes Gilbert. And now it is going to be a running lariat attempted by Ivan PUTSKI, but Gilbert dodges the running lariat, and Gilbert now takes control, and Gilbert again with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes PUTSKI, and on a roll of 6, Gilbert drops down. PUTSKI comes back the other way, and this time on a roll of 7, it is a hard back elbow smash by Eddie Gilbert that stuns PUTSKI. Gilbert now thought about a whip to the turnbuckle, thought better of it, and instead he is just going to issue a forearm smash to Ivan PUTSKI across the chest. Of course, the chest of PUTSKI is massive and is not going to be injured by a simple little forearm smash. PUTSKI is going to fire back, and this time again, PUTSKI nails Gilbert with a hard lariat across the neck. He's going to go for the cover here. The pin roll is 5 or lower. And on a roll of 4, we're going to have a pin, but James J. Dillon is going to present the distraction. And Dillon cannot get the distraction done. The distraction by James J. Dillon fails, and Eddie Gilbert is pinned. So the hard times for James J. Dillon continue here tonight as his man Eddie Gilbert is pinned after a running lariat from PUTSKI, and Dillon unable to distract the referee and interrupt the pinfall, leading to Gilbert's defeat at the hands of Ivan PUTSKI. So drama in James J. Dillon Enterprises here tonight in New York City. As the winner of your opening match here on the television broadcast is Ivan PUTSKI. And hopefully he can put James J. Dillon Enterprises in his rearview mirror, as Dillon Enterprises has bigger problems here tonight than just than just Ivan PUTSKI. All right. So our first televised match is in the books. And now we've got a big one, a tag team contest coming up next. The following contest is scheduled for one fall with no time limit, and it is a #1 contenders match for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Of course, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher 2 weeks ago at the Brothers in Arms pay-per-view won the vacant NWA World Tag Team Championship, and they will defend their belts against the winner of tonight's next contest. Introducing first, from parts unknown, at a total combined weight of 585 pounds, this is the team of Axe and Smash, collectively known as Demolition. So Demolition, native here to the Patriot Championship Wrestling, so they're getting some applause from the fans here in New York City, particularly when you consider how disreputable their opponents are. Their opponents are accompanied to the ring by Christina Von Eerie. Introducing first, 5'11", 252 pounds, out of Boston, Massachusetts. This is Kevin Sullivan. And his tag team partner hails from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. 6'2", 287 pounds. This is Cactus Jack. And this is a very dangerous team, Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack. Of course, it was Cactus Jack who put Billy Gunn on the shelf and caused the New Age Outlaws to have to forfeit the NWA World Tag Team Championship, which created the opportunity for Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher to win those titles. And now Sullivan and Cactus Jack with an opportunity to earn a title match if they can overcome the team of Demolition here in tonight's #1 Contenders match. Excuse me. And we will get things started here with Demolition Smash opening up the matchup. Demolition Smash opening up the matchup against Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan and Smash come into the center of the ring. And the opening initiative role is won by Demolition. So Smash locks up and takes Sullivan down with a shoulder tackle. And Sullivan goes down hard. Good shoulder tackle. And quickly, it is going to be Demolition Smash taking Sullivan up into the air. They're going to hit the Demolition Decapitation right here off of the opening lockup. The pin roll is 6 or lower. And on a roll of 9, Sullivan is able to get out of that. But Demolition immediately takes control with their power moves. By far, they have the power advantage in this match. And their game plan is intact. And now they're going to hit it again. As Axe comes off the top rope, now the pinfall is a 7 or lower. And there will be a pin here unless Cactus Jack can do something about it. Cactus Jack hits the ring. We go to the outside interference chart. And on a roll of 8, your ally distracts the referee, breaking the pin count. The referee orders him to leave, and the opponent rolls on level 3 offense. So just like that, Axe and Smash have wailed on Kevin Sullivan and hit him twice with the Demolition Decapitation. And only quick thinking by Cactus Jack saved the match. But Demolition still in control as now Axe is going for a big body slam. That is a choice H maneuver. So he will require a roll of 8 or lower to hit that. And on a roll of 11, Kevin Sullivan gets out of the way, dodges gets out the back door of the body slam, and it is Sullivan with a big clothesline that stuns Demolition Axe. And Sullivan will make the tag to Cactus Jack. And in comes Cactus Jack, and immediately Axe and Cactus Jack are going to go out of the ring. And on a roll of 2, it is Axe who grabs Cactus Jack by the leg, pulls him out of the ring, and just annihilates Cactus Jack with a big lariat on the arena floor. Cactus Jack goes down, and he gets up. He is stunned. He's got a big grin on his face. He doesn't get hit that hard very often, but when he does, he likes it. And Axe is now in control as action returns to the ring. And now he's going to go for a Russian leg sweep on a roll of 10 or lower. And he is able to connect on that. And he is again going to go for a cover on Cactus Jack. The pin roll here is Snake Eyes. And on a roll of 6, Cactus Jack kicks out. We've got commentary in the chat room. Danhausen tried to join Sullivan, but Abdullah put him out. Danhausen is everywhere these days. You got to love it. Axe now in control on Cactus Jack. And again, action goes out of the ring. Will we see some shenanigans here? On a roll of 4, we will not see any shenanigans quite yet. And on a roll of 11, it is Axe who picks up a steel chair and wails on Cactus Jack on the arena floor. This is a disqualification situation, so we will roll a disqualification here. Uh-oh, we might have a disqualification. And on a roll of 5, that's a disqualification. Just like that, Demolition is disqualified after Axe hits Cactus Jack with a steel chair on the arena floor. What a crazy turn of events. But we rolled the 5 twice, and that is a DQ. And in a world championship situation, disqualification rules are in effect. So surprisingly, it is Sullivan and Cactus Jack with a DQ win. Maybe we'll give credit to Christina Von Eerie for that. as Axe takes the DQ after hitting Cactus Jack with a steel chair. Let's see if anything happens into the aftermath of the disqualification. Roll of 8. Disqualified wrestler attacks opponent. Roll the attack table. So Demolition is going to keep on the attack here against Sullivan and Cactus Jack, as the violence will escalate. And on a roll of 7, Cactus Jack will escape the injury. And there will not be a follow-up feud. So Axe got a couple of chair shots in on Cactus Jack. I don't know what was said between those wrestlers, but Axe is disqualified, and it will be Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan going on to face Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher for the World Tag Team Championship next month at the Dawn of Destiny pay-per-view. All right. Surprise ending there, as it looks like Demolition had that match well in hand. And that brings us to our main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is your main event of the evening, and it is for the North American Heavyweight Championship. These matches are no DQ matches. So anything goes in this matchup as we introduce first the challenger. He stands at 6'4" and weighs 246 pounds, out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota. This is Ravishing Rick Rude. And his opponent out of Parris Island, South Carolina, is your reigning and defending North American champion, and the most popular man in the Heartland in the latest Heartland Top 10 ratings. This is, standing at 6'4", weighing in at 303 pounds, this is Sergeant Slaughter. All right, Sergeant Slaughter, your North American Heavyweight Champion, taking on Rick Rude in a title defense here this evening in New York City. Excuse me. So the championship dice are out. Sergeant Slaughter and Rick Rude are in the ring and ready for action here with the opening initiative roll won by Rick Rude. And Rude comes out and tries to take Slaughter down to the canvas. Slaughter overpowers him. Slaughter with the power advantage. And Sarge comes back with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Ravishing Rick Rude, and on a roll of 10, it is a big specialty move by both men. The man with the better turnbuckle rating wins the encounter, and in this case they are equal. So Sergeant Slaughter, the man who whipped the opponent into the turnbuckle, gets the victory here in that confrontation. Slaughter takes over on level 3 offense, goes to the top turnbuckle, and immediately nails the Slaughter Cannon, that diving lariat off the middle turnbuckle. And that's going to cost Rick Rude a point of fatigue. Slaughter in control after taking Rude down with that Slaughter Cannon. And now it is a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Rick Rude, but on a roll of 4, it is Rude who comes off with a big flying knee smash that catches Sergeant Slaughter on the jut of the jaw. And Slaughter goes down. Rick Rude follows that up with an attempt at a reverse atomic drop. This is a choice F maneuver, so he will need a roll of 8 or lower to complete that. And on a roll of 8, he got him up and down, and Slaughter is dazed. They come back together in the center of the ring, and it is Rick Rude with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Sergeant Slaughter, and on a roll of 7, it is a big kick from Rick Rude that stuns Sergeant Slaughter. Rude moving in against his man with a big clothesline. Over the top rope and out to the arena floor goes Sergeant Slaughter. Of course, the North American Championship, all matches conducted under no disqualification rules. So as Rude comes out to greet Slaughter on the arena floor, it is Slaughter who grabs Rude by the back of the neck and slams him forehead first into the ring post. And Rick Rude now is stunned. And Slaughter's going to follow that up with a big gutbuster across the knee. Good move by Sergeant Slaughter. And Rude remains down. Slaughter now is going to go for the Cobra Clutch. This is a +2 finisher. The pin roll is 5 or lower. And on a roll of 7, Rude is able to get his way over to the ropes and force the hold to be broken before Slaughter could really get that cinched in. Slaughter now in control with the fans on their feet as Slaughter moves in. And oh, he just delivers another Slaughter cannon to Rick Rude off the middle turnbuckle. And now it is Rude who is knocked out of the ring and down to the arena floor. Out of the ring we go with Rick Rude. He is a B-rated performer out of the ring, and on a roll of 4, that's the double disqualification roll. There is no disqualification in this match. So that will take us to the odd even roll. And on a roll of 5, it is Sergeant Slaughter who wins the brawl on the arena floor. As action returns to the ring, it is Slaughter in control. Rude trying to get back into the ring, and Slaughter grabs him by the leg and drags him back out to the arena floor. Rude trying to fight back against Slaughter, but Slaughter again with a big punch to the side of the head of Rick Rude stuns Rude on the arena floor, and Slaughter still in control. And now Slaughter again takes things out of the ring. We will not see any shenanigans quite yet on a roll of 3, but on a roll of 4, again, it is the odd even roll. Rick Rude gets the even, and on a roll of 4, it is Rude who finally wins the brawl on the arena floor. And now as they go back into the ring, it is Rude who delivers the Rude Awakening. He goes for the cover. The pin roll is 4 or lower, and on a roll of 9, Sergeant Slaughter kicks out. Back and forth we go. Very good battle between these two men. And now it is Rude who is going to attempt, again, the reverse atomic drop. Choice F maneuver. This is going to require a roll of 8 or lower to complete. And on a roll of 5, he got him down, and Slaughter is hurt. Rude moves in to follow up, and Rude hits a knee lift to the midsection. Slaughter staggers back. Rude comes in after him with a falling forearm drop off the middle turnbuckle. Slaughter goes down. And Rude now with a big clothesline. Rude goes for the cover. The pin roll is a 3. And on a roll of 7, Slaughter kicks out. Slaughter now taking some heavy artillery from Rick Rude as Rude attempts to rally. And on a roll of... And now it is a pile driver by Rick Rude that dumps Slaughter headfirst onto the mat. Slaughter in some trouble here as Rude goes with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Sergeant Slaughter. And on a roll of 9, that is the power rating. And the power rating goes to Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter, the more powerful of the two men. He's got about a 50-pound weight advantage. And so he knocks Rude to the mat with a running shoulder tackle. And Slaughter takes over with a big catapult into the turnbuckle. And Rude hits the turnbuckle hard and rolls out of the ring once again. This time Slaughter's going to wait it out as Rude... crawls back into the ring ahead of the 10 count, where Slaughter is waiting after catching a breather. And now it is going to be Sergeant Slaughter going up for a death jump. Death jump attempt by Slaughter, but oh, on a roll of 4, Rick Rude got there first, and Rick Rude throws Sergeant Slaughter down to the mat hard. Down goes Sergeant Slaughter. Rick Rude's going to follow that up with a swinging neck breaker. Slaughter hits the mat hard. Rude follows that up with a knee lift to the midsection. Slaughter looking gassed. Another big clothesline from Rick Rude. Slaughter stands his ground. Rude now with a big suplex. Rude goes for the cover. The pin roll is a 4. And on a roll of 5, Sergeant Slaughter barely kicks out. Good match here. Very competitive main event. As Rude now moves in. And Rude with another swinging neck breaker. He goes for the cover again. The pin roll is a 5, and on a roll of 8, Slaughter kicks out again. What a battle we're seeing here. Rick Rude and Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter trying to get out of the ring. Rude's not going to let that happen. And instead, a big suplex by Sergeant Slaughter, up, over, and down to the canvas hard, and now Slaughter does manage to roll out of the ring. On the arena floor, it is Slaughter who grabs Rude by the leg and whips Rick Rude into the steel security rails. Rude hits hard, and Slaughter takes control once again. And now back into the ring, it is Slaughter with the Cobra Clutch. The Cobra Clutch has been applied. The submission roll is 7 or lower. And on a roll of 7, he got him. Very, very tough match for both men. But Sergeant Slaughter finally, by way of the Cobra Clutch, gets the victory and successfully defends the North American Heavyweight Championship. It was looking pretty dicey for Slaughter there, but he got out to the arena floor, and that is where he does battle best. And after winning that battle on the arena floor, whipping Rick Rude into the steel security railing, it is Sergeant Slaughter, by way of the Cobra Clutch, picking up the victory. As we say hello to Al, Red Sox fan. Coming in just at the conclusion of tonight's main event with Sergeant Slaughter successfully defending the North American Heavyweight Championship. But I think the big story of the night was the travails of James J. Dillon, as all 3 of his charges tasted defeat tonight, and there was some dissension in the ranks. We'll have to keep a close eye on that story as Patriot Championship Wrestling continues on. And of course, congratulations, I guess, to Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack for a disqualification win, surprisingly, over Demolition. And it will be Sullivan and Cactus Jack at the Dawn of Destiny pay-per-view next month, challenging Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. All right, fans, we are done here. Thank you for checking out tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who came in after further review with Steve Tower, Al, Red Sox fan, Neil Lau, Cleveland baseball fan 879, Mark Ferguson. And who else did we have earlier on? We had Carl Zilla, Philip Reynolds, all in the chat room here tonight for Patriot Championship Wrestling, brought to you by Heartland Championship Wrestling and the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. So good night to all. Back to NBA basketball. Really good game going on right now. Kansas State and Florida Atlantic. Going to get back to watching that. And until next time, that's our stream, and I am out of here.